the Broncos, another team that is in that window. And different coaches have different approaches as to how they go about speaking the word Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Mentioning the possibility, because you don't want to have unrealistically high expectations for your team. You'd rather have low expectations, because then if you have, a 10-7 year and you get a wild card berth, it feels pretty good. But if everybody expected you to go to the Super Bowl, it feels like a failure. Here's Sean Payton on the 2025 Broncos. The short-term goal is winning the division, but this team is capable of winning the Super Bowl. I've coached teams, 6 teams, that I thought could win the Super Bowl. Some went to championship games, some to the playoffs. This is my 7th team that I think has that. Now, he's 1 for 5, right? Or 1 and 5, not 1 for 5, 1 for 6, 1 and 5 when it comes to his 6 Super Bowl teams that he thought could make it to the Super Bowl, because only 1 did. And obviously the 2018 Saints should have. Right. That was the horrific missed interference call.
Could be 2 and 4.
Maybe the 2017 Saints, after they wiped out the deficit with the Vikings before the Minneapolis Miracle. I don't know. Maybe the Saints could have beaten the Eagles. I don't know. But yeah, the fact that he views in his 3rd year with the Broncos, this collection of players is already at the point where they could make it to the Super Bowl. And is it a surprise? It was his 4th year in New Orleans that they won a Super Bowl. He's 1 year ahead of schedule.
Right. He went to the NFC Championship game his 1st year in New Orleans.
Right away.
Remember? Right?
Right away.
Lost to the Bears. I think Sean Payton's the kind of guy that he doesn't say this unless he believes it. And to me, this has the feeling of like, one, he sees a team with this talent, and they're young in some spots, and I think he's saying it so they believe it. I think it's a little bit of like, hey guys, like I don't think, some of you guys are young. We got a young quarterback. You might not know your butt from your elbow or whatever else, but I'm just telling you, you guys are good. And this is not new. Anybody, I think I've told you this through the spring and everything else. I know some people out there in Denver. I know how excited they are about their football team. They've been saying things like this behind the scene. Not that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but that they think their team is really good. It was one of the best defenses in football last year. They think it's going to be better. Bo Nix, year 2. It was awesome year 1. They got a RJ Harvey, who they think is going to be special and is already the starting running back there out in Denver. They got Cortland Sutton lined up. Yeah. So I think he's saying this to make his team believe and realize, hey, you guys are legit here. So let's stay on crossing the T's and dotting the I's here, because you could have something to say when in the AFC when it's all said and done here.
I would say, or they're mentioning their names. I think the Denver Broncos, and not just saying that, say, all right, they're going to be good as a good football team. I think the Denver Broncos can compete and be a team that we're talking about later on in the season as a possibility to get into the playoffs and go on a run and be talking about them as a Super Bowl type of team. I think Bo Nix has that ability to take the next step. Sean Payton is a head coach that has been in this position before and has been building for this. As good as they were on defense last year, you go out and you sign Talanoa Hufanga and you sign Dre Greenlaw to come over to that side of the defense and go and be able to dominate and run around. So when I look at them, RJ Harvey in the backfield, another explosive weapon, Evan Ingram, another guy on the offensive side of the ball. This was a team last year that when they were in the playoffs and we started talking about them and they were in close games against the Kansas City Chiefs, losing by a blocked field goal, we all were shocked. We had no idea Bo Nix was going to be that type of player last year. There's going to be a little bit more of a target on their back this year, but I think they've made improvements where it's not just, all right, they're going to make the playoffs, but they're a team that I think can go out there and can compete and beat every team in the AFC.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. This is not just another NFL season preview. This is the story of a franchise that was left for dead, written off as a laughingstock. Now rising from the ashes to challenge the kings of the AFC West, the Denver Broncos, under Sean Payton's iron fist and Bo Nix's fearless command, are no longer a punchline. They're a powder keg, ready to explode. In 2025, they're not just aiming for the playoffs, they're gunning for the Super Bowl. Let's dive into the fire. But how did a team that was once the NFL's punching bag get here? Let's rewind to the disaster that set the stage. Picture this: 2022. The Denver Broncos are a dumpster fire. They trade away their future, 2 first-round picks, 3 players, and a jaw-dropping $165 million, guaranteed for Russell Wilson. Expecting a savior, instead, they get the worst offensive season in franchise history. A pathetic 5-12 record. Nathaniel Hackett, the head coach, doesn't even make it to New Year's before he's fired. The locker room, shattered. Trust, non-existent. Fans at Mile High were booing their own team. And the media, oh, they were having a field day. Skip Bayless called it a franchise in freefall. Colin Cowherd, he was ready to bury Denver's hopes for a decade. This wasn't just a bad season. It was a catastrophic collapse that left Broncos country gasping for air. And then, enter Sean Payton in 2023, a Super Bowl champion coach, the mastermind behind Drew Brees' Hall of Fame career, handed an $18 million a year deal and total control to fix this mess. But even Payton's first season started with a gut punch, a 1-5 record, including a humiliating 70-20 loss to Miami, the worst beating in Broncos history. Whispers grew louder. Had the game passed Payton by? Was he just another washed-up coach chasing past glory? The doubters were circling, ready to write his obituary. But champions don't crumble. They rebuild. And Sean Payton was about to make a move that would shock the NFL. Let's talk about the gamble that changed everything. In the 2024 NFL Draft, with the 12th pick, Sean Payton didn't just roll the dice, he threw them into the fire. The Denver Broncos select Bo Nix, a 4-year-old quarterback with 61 college starts at Oregon, 15,000, 351 passing yards, 113 touchdowns, and a record-breaking 77.4% completion rate in his final season, the most efficient in FBS history. Yet, the so-called experts scoffed. Too old, they said. System quarterback, they sneered. Lacks arm talent, they claimed. But Payton saw what they didn't. In a private workout, he put Nix through an 80-throw gauntlet, full-speed progressions, situational reads, decision trees, designed to break quarterbacks. Nix didn't just survive, he thrived, absorbing every concept like a sponge. Week 1 against Seattle, ugly. 2 interceptions in Week 2, brutal. The Denver media was ready to burn Payton at the stake, and Twitter, Avatzon. Fans were calling for Jarrett Stidham. But Bo Nix, he didn't flinch. He stayed up until midnight, grinding film with Payton, dissecting every mistake. By Week 3, the tide turned. By mid-season, he was carving up defenses, like a veteran. By December, he was leading fourth-quarter comebacks with ice in his veins. Final stats, 3,775 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and a 66.3% completion rate. This wasn't just a rookie season, it was a statement. Bo Nix wasn't a project. He was the cornerstone of Denver's resurrection. Nix didn't do it alone, though. Payton built an arsenal around him, and the additions for 2025 are pure dynamite. Let's break down the offensive firepower. Sean Payton doesn't need superstars. He needs weapons that fit his system. And in 2025, he's loaded the chamber. Start with the backfield. J.K. Dobbins, a running back who ran for 963 yards and 9 touchdowns with the Chargers in 2024, is now in Denver, healthy and hungry. Before injuries derailed him, he averaged 6.0 yards per carry as a rookie. He's explosive, compact, and breaks tackles like they owe him money. Then there's R.J. Harvey, the UCF rookie who's already turning heads. In college, he racked up 1,577 rushing yards, 22 touchdowns, and 267 receiving yards, averaging 6.11 yards per carry. Scouts compare him to Maurice Jones-Drew, and in camp, he's dominating goal line and third down situations. This isn't just a backfield, it's a battering ram. At tight end, Evan Engram, a 2-time Pro Bowler, joins the fray with 963 yards in 2023 for Jacksonville. He's a mismatch nightmare who stretches the field and gives Nix a reliable target. And don't forget Cortland Sutton, who exploded for 81 catches, 1,081 yards, and 8 touchdowns in 2024, finally living up to his potential with a quarterback who trusts him. Marvin Mims Jr., a human highlight reel, averaging 12.9 yards per catch and scoring every 6.5 receptions. This offense isn't just good, it's a ticking time bomb ready to detonate. But an explosive offense is only half the story. Denver's defense is a juggernaut, and it's about to get even scarier. Let's talk about the wall they've built. Last year, the Denver Broncos defense was a nightmare for quarterbacks. leading the NFL with 63 sacks and ranking third in points allowed at just 18 per game. They were a top 10 unit in rush defense and yards allowed, and they had the best cornerback in football. Patrick Surtain II, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, locking down receivers like a human padlock. But Sean Payton and GM George Patton weren't satisfied. They went out and signed 2 former 49ers stars, linebacker Dre Greenlaw, a speed demon with playoff scars, and safety Talanoa Hufanga, a 2022 first-team All-Pro who diagnoses plays like he's reading the quarterback's mind. Both bring championship experience from San Francisco's Super Bowl run in 2023. Add in rookie cornerback Jahdae Barron, the 2024 Jim Thorpe Award winner who led the SEC in interceptions, and this secondary is a no-fly zone. Up front, players like Zach Allen and Nick Bonito keep the pressure relentless, with Denver ranking top 10-inch pressure rate without a single superstar. This isn't just a defense, it's a wrecking crew ready to bury opponents in 2025. With a defense this ferocious and an offense this dynamic, can Denver finally dethrone the Chiefs? Let's confront the elephant in the room. The Kansas City Chiefs have owned the AFC West for 9 straight years, with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid building a dynasty that's won 3 Super Bowls since 2020. Last season, they went 15-2, undefeated in 1-score games, and beat Denver on a blocked field goal in a heartbreaker. But the Chiefs are aging, and cracks are showing. Meanwhile, the Broncos are young, hungry, and built to exploit weaknesses. In 2024, Denver went 10-7, with 7 wins by 14-plus points, the most in the NFL. They were 1 6-inch, 1-score games, meaning they were inches from an even better record. Now, with Bo Nix entering year 2, a revamped offense, and a defense that's arguably the league's best, the Broncos are no longer the underdog. Sean Payton, who's coached 6 teams he believed could win a Super Bowl, says this 2025 squad is one of them. He's only won it once, but he took the Saints to the NFC Championship in his first year and won it all in his 4th. Denver's ahead of schedule, and Payton's not shying away from the Super Bowl word. The AFC West is a gauntlet: Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and a rebuilt Raiders team under Pete Carroll. But Denver's balance and depth make them a legitimate threat. So, here's the question. Can the Broncos finally end Kansas City's reign? Or will Mahomes and co. crush their dreams again? Drop your take in the comments. The stage is set, the pieces are in place, and the Broncos are ready to shock the world. Let's wrap this up with a call to action. The Denver Broncos aren't just a feel-good story, they're a freight train barreling toward the AFC's elite. Bo Nix is no longer a rookie. He's a leader. Sean Payton isn't just a coach, he's a mastermind betting his legacy on this squad. With a defense that devours quarterbacks, an offense built to explode, and a fan base starving for glory, 2025 could be the year Denver reclaims its place among the NFL's giants. But it's not just about the Broncos, it's about you. Are you ready to ride this wave? Drop your predictions in the comments. Can Denver win the AFC West? Will they crash the Super Bowl party? Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to join the conversation. This is Broncos country, and we're back. Let's ride.